guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. We're back here at Parks Lincoln in Tampa, Florida, and guess what? I have the redesign of that SUV that people aspire to. It's this vehicle right here. This is it. This is your redesign from top to bottom 2025 Lincoln Navigator. But before we get into this new twist on a legend, let's talk about what's going on here. So you heard correctly, the Navigator is a legend. This vehicle basically saved Lincoln. Lincoln, this American luxury car company that was all about sedans, the Lincoln Continental, the Lincoln Mark 8. Well, guess what? A lot of people aren't buying sedans as much anymore. They want SUVs, and a lot of people want large SUVs. Now, all the way back in this time period of luxury sedans, nobody really tried to do a full-size, full-on luxury SUV, but it was Lincoln that started it. Eventually, you would have other brands like Cadillac that would bring one of the hometown rivals, the Escalade, to their lineup. Now, for 2025, they decided to make some changes to the exterior, some big changes, but also wait until you get to the interior. That's where you're gonna see some technology that's gonna blow your mind with this Navigator. But what I wanna find out is this the best new full-size luxury SUV you should be getting? Let's go ahead, let's dive into ours and find out. Right off the bat, all new color. It's called Crystal White, and I love it because depending on the amount of light, it sort of looks like an off-white, but then you look at it a different way and it almost looks like a light bluish gray. Very interesting color. Now, on the front of the business, you'll see the big changes. All new headlight design, much smaller than the previous generation. You got your full LED headlights, LED daytime running lamps, and turn signals. And I like the way that most of the interior is blacked out. Around the bend, look at how they're bringing some nice style into the side marker lights. Really digging that nice special touch. And then as we get down to ground level, you'll see that on this reserve trim, we have some aluminum style finish and then the gloss black area with our crystal white. Now, the good news is that they did a great job with the overall shape. The zonk is, why is there all this dead space? I'm not really digging it. I wish they put some LED fog lamps or some more exterior lighting or something, even a corner air curtain, something in that area right there. But let me know what you think so far about this Navigator. Now, as we come across the all new grille, when you go reserve, you're getting these nice little silver accents. Of course, you're gonna have that iconic Lincoln badge with a forward-facing camera. And look at the way they took the shape of the badge and brought it into the trim. Nice special touches. As we work our way down, you have your signature grille design from Lincoln. They always have this rise in the center, a little bit of a concave shape to the lower portion. It is fully functional, and this does illuminate at night. The Lincoln badge does illuminate at night. In the center, you have your functionality because remember, we have that intercooled twin turbo engine underneath the hood, and we'll talk more about that when we pop the hood. And then everything else just finished off very, very clean without anything really protruding forward. I really think that they modernize the look of the new Navigator very nicely. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Now, as we rise up, just a little bit of a slight bulge in the center, kind of trickles down into the top portion of the upper grille where we have that aluminum trim around the perimeter. And then as we come around the bend, of course, if we have all new lighting, all new front fascia, we're gonna have all new wheels. Now, when you go reserve trim, these are the 22-inch wheels you get. Love the machined aluminum accents, that gunmetal metallic gray painted insert. And the fact that it's got like a nice twist to it really shows that traditional, what you're finding today, aeronautical style from Lincoln. I mean, think about their brands, the different models with their brand. Navigator, Corsair, Nautilus, Aviator. It's all this aeronautical stuff, and I'm really, really digging the wheel. These are 22-inch wheels. Of course, if you go up to Black Label, which is the top trim, you can get the all-new 24-inch wheels. But I think 22-inch wheels are big enough. Tires are 275 on the width, 50 series sidewall, and then I'll have Steven kind of zoom in so we could show off the top of the upper control arm, your suspension and everything. Everything has been tweaked for 2025 to give you a better ride, a more comfortable ride, and a quieter ride. But let me know what you think about the wheels with this color. I think it really hits the nail right on the head. Now, as we come down the side, love the way they have the aluminum style trim. A little bit of gloss black with the Navigator name, really pops nicely. Of course, you're gonna have gloss black on your mirror caps, 360-degree cameras, silver trim with your turn signals. From the side, you can see the sheer size. This is a full-size, full-on SUV, body on frame, competes directly with the Cadillac Escalade, and we can't forget also the Jeep Grand Wagoneer. Those are the main rivals, but then you also have the German Euro brands, Mercedes, and specifically BMW. Now, what's great is that when you open up the doors, you do have your power dropping running boards, and those actually will go back up when you walk away, nice with the gloss black. Not a bunch of, I think that's the thing I like about the Reserve trim. There's not a lot of bunch of shiny brightness. It's like the aluminum feel has a nice pop, but it's not too much in your face. You're gonna get color matched on your door handles with a little bit of gloss black. And then you'll notice how we have just bright shiny metalwork along the bottom, not top and bottom of those window frame openings. You got your silver painted roof rails. You could get your crossbars. Working our way towards the rear, look at the way they took the design from the headlights. Remember those marker lights, the side marker lights? Look at the way they took the design and etched it into the glass. Working our way towards the rear, there's that design again. Really, really nice. Of course, we have 4x4. Get the power to the ground, all four corners. You come around the backside, and here's where they really clean things up compared to the 2024 model year. All LED tail lights, your marker lights, your turn signals. The Lincoln name is like under glass. It's like kept under glass, like you're in a jewelry store. You have a long roof spoiler with the wiper hidden. Really like the way it cleans up the back. And then as we work our way down to ground level, just like up front, super clean, color match with some gloss black. This cover comes off because you can now tow even more, up to 8,700 pounds with this Navigator. And I like the way it's clean of all badging. Just says Lincoln. That's all we need. Everybody knows it's a Navigator. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and see if there's anything new with the power plant. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. You do have hood struts. Underneath the hood, I guess the one zonk is that there's nothing new. But is that a bad thing? I'm not too sure about that. What do we have? We have that 3.5 liter twin turbo V6, 440 horsepower, mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission. 0 to 60 in 5 seconds. Top speed is governed to 124 miles an hour. The vehicle weighs 6,078 pounds, can tow 8,700 pounds, and MPGs 15 in the city, 22 on the highway. Now, according to Lincoln, they did tweak the 10-speed automatic to give you some better shifting qualities to it, but 0 to 60 in 5 seconds in a 6,000-pound SUV, I don't know if you really need much horsepower. Let me know how you feel about it in the comment section, but why don't we go ahead, let's fire this Lincoln up and see it navigate. All right, guys, we are in it to freaking win it today. We're inside this 2025 Lincoln Navigator Reserve trim. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, dang, I remember when I was a kid and they came out with the first Navigator. I fell in love with it. I really wanted one. I want this one. How much is it? Very good question. MSRP for this Reserve, the way that it's optioned, is $109,000. Quite a bit of a chunk of change, but let's see if it's the best. To the door panels, love all the materials. You got leather throughout, nice stitching. You'll notice in the upper corner there, we have our premium Reveal sound system, 28 speakers. Digging the aluminum style trim, no gloss black around the switchgear. There's your lower speaker grill cover looking great. And then of course we have enough room down there where you can get your Panera beef and cheddar and then 2 bottles of Aquafina to wash it down. Now going from the door panel to the dash, look at the new style, the nice materials, the stitching, 48 inches of uninterrupted screen. It's not a touch screen. The way that you go through the screen is through the smaller infotainment system. But all of these things are changeable. Let me show you how they're changeable very, very easily. Watch this. So let's say I want weather. I want the weather. I'm going to click and drag it. Boom. Now we have the weather. Let's say I want my fuel economy. Boom. There's our fuel economy. And obviously the vehicle just came off the truck, so that's why it's 4.7 miles per gallon. That's not really the actual mileage, guys. Let's be real. There's, for trailering, obviously there's no trailer on the back. How about a compass? Look at that. We have to enable it in the touchscreen. So let me enable it, and then bam, there's our compass. Look at that. And then you could switch them around. Let's say I want you to have visibility of what we're listening to music-wise. Very easy to interchange those screens, and it's not distracting at all once you get behind the wheel. Look at our massive lower center speaker here. Remember, 28 speakers. Working our way down, there's our infotainment system screen. Love the way that you could work all the different functions. All I was doing was just clicking and dragging. And this is an 11.1 inch screen. I could bring up all the apps. It's like its own freaking app store where you could watch YouTube, you could play games on it, all sorts of stuff to really make this a rolling rejuvenation kind of experience where if you're waiting in line for the kids and you want to play a game to blow off some steam, you could do that. And you could have your special massage, all the different scents. Speaking of massage, the seats, 24-way adjustable. And then of course, when it comes to massage settings, this is where you could set all that up, have your recovery, your pulse, whatever you want. And you could do it by touching the screen or by touching the seat controls. Let me throw it into reverse. Backup camera does not come up down here. You actually use this to adjust your backup camera. Backup camera comes up in the center of the 48 inches of display. And then, like I said, you could zoom in and zoom out of different regions. Very clear resolution, and you do have trajectory, which is really nice. We come back into park. Now, when it comes to your AC controls and all of that, it's all within the screen. So your AC controls are within the screen. You can make all of your adjustments, or also your seats. Heated seats, ventilated seats, and heated steering wheel. So they got you covered there. And then of course, working your way down, we do have our piano keys on the 10-speed automatic. You got your start stop button, easy to get to, a real live volume knob. And then down below, you got a cubby for a purse, a merce, a sack, a satchel. And then look at the way they did all the fine trim. Open up the door, you got 2 cup holders. Open up this door, you got your wireless charging, USB-C, USB-A. And then now we open this up, you got a cubby for your watches. You get a nice little box of chocolates from Lincoln. Look at that, really, really nice. And you have enough room in there, you could easily put, I would say, the crown jewels. And you have 2 USB-Cs and a 12 volt. And then of course the seats, the leather, 24-way adjustable with the massage settings, really nice, fine quality. And then when it comes to the headliner, of course you're gonna have your power shade with that power sunroof in the headliner, and you have the speakers built in. Not too shabby. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I want to show you behind the wheel in this Navigator. All right guys, business time behind the wheel. You do have a nice aluminum sill plate with the Lincoln name and your ambient lighting. We have all of our seat controls, 24-way adjustable with the massage. I'm 6 feet tall. You got plenty of room in here. Feels fantastic. All new steering wheel, very unique shape, very minimalistic. The leather, leather on the horn button, like the thumb controls to control your screen. You do have Blue Cruise, that's that autonomous hands-free driving, and this is an electric tilting and telescoping steering wheel with your 48 inches of uninterrupted screen. But why don't we go ahead, let's get into the mid-row and third row and see how your passengers are gonna feel that you went Navigator. All right guys, mid-row time in this Lincoln Navigator, and this is where you're just gonna be spoiled. I don't know if you saw on the side of the seats, you do have full power assist for the mid-row. That to me is incredible, plus massage for the mid-row. Backs of the seats, you do have your USB-Cs, 2 of them up top, like the way they brought some of that silver trim. Got nice pockets, you could put a couple, Business Weekly, maybe Money Marketing Manager magazines. You gotta keep track of all your hundos and where they're going. Little bit of an area down here. What I like about this is, first of all, I love this like kind of whitewash wood feel to the material, but I also like the way I could adjust the sunshade from the mid-row so I don't have to ask the driver. You got a home power source. Look at the stitching. And then you're gonna have 2 cup holders. Wait, don't go anywhere, because look at this. On the inside, you actually have this secret compartment. This is where you could put some of those secret things that you're hiding from people. Maybe you got a big bag of cigarweed or something and you could hide it in there. Now, when it comes to the center console, you got almost the same thing that everybody else has up front. You have a touch screen for your seat controls. Like I said, massage, heated and ventilated. You could do the chauffeur setting where we get this seat out of the way. And then you also have your climate controls. We got to get it cooler in here, man. It's like freaking 89 degrees outside. So you got all your AC controls, easy to get to. Open this guy, a place for 2 luxury Twinkies, 2 more cup holders, and then you even have the leather and another storage compartment with the felt lining. This is where you could keep all the class rings of all those girls you dated back when you were in high school, because you were the man, weren't you? You were the man. You keep all those rings in there. You never gave them back after you dumped them. Seats feel fantastic. Like I said, the full power assist is just magical. You're really gonna feel rejuvenated in here. And then of course you got speakers out the yin yang from the 28 speaker sound system. But why don't we go ahead, let's get to the third row and see how your yin yang is gonna feel getting back there. All right guys, third row time in this Lincoln Navigator. And what's great is that these are some of the most comfortable third row seats. My knees are also the lowest. Lower than in the Cadillac Escalade. I got my AC vents. I have 2 USB-Cs. I got a place for an enchilada back here. Maybe some empanadas. Tampa, we're in Tampa. This is the home of the Cuban sandwich. I want to put a Cuban right here. Cuban sandwich. That's what I'm talking about. You do have some nice power recline on the seats as well, which is awesome. And I'm telling you, the texture is nice. My only zonk is they should have put some soft material on this back armrest area. Another thing, I don't know if Steven could pick it up, is for some reason they decided to just do gloss black here. Bad move. That's going to get scratched to heck when your kids are getting in and out of this third row. Guaranteed. It's so believable, my tongue comes notarized. That's going to get scratched. But let's get in the cargo area, because I want to take you for a spin in this Navigator. All right, guys, cargo area time. New for 2025 is what Lincoln is calling the split gate. So we hit the button, you have electric assist for the top portion. I really like this because it allows you to go shopping, get the cantaloupes, the watermelons, the honeydews, all those different things, and you don't have to worry about them rolling out the back and then you have to chase them through the parking lot. To put the lower portion down of the split gate, you just hit that, nice electric assist into this loading dock. On the passenger side, you actually get USB-Cs back here. You even get a 12 volt and a home power source. You also could set up a table. They want to make this a luxury-esque tailgating kind of usage, for a lack of better words. So that's why you have all that connectivity. On the driver's side, what do we got going on here? You have your exterior lighting, which is really nice. You also have your buttons to put down the rear seats, the third row, plus you got a nook here for a box of luxury Twinkies, of course. Now to put the third row down, Look at this, here we go. It's a 60-40 split. One side going down, the other side going down. Look at that. Nice, smooth electric assist. Allows you to really magnify the amount of space. Speaking of space, here's those little cubbies I was telling you about in the third row with USBs on both sides. Plus, you have a secret area underneath. This is where you could put all your jewels, the family jewels, your jewel crown, all of those things you could hide underneath there. And there's even more. And this is where you could turn this back area into a table very easily. But you know what? We're gonna put the two halves of the split gate back together. It's like putting Humpty Dumpty back together. Why don't we go ahead, if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go see how this new Navigator drives. All right, guys, we're leaving Parks Lincoln in Tampa. We're behind the wheel of this 2025 Lincoln Navigator Reserve. Right away, it's going to make sense to you what's going on with the 48 inches of screen. You would think like it's gonna be a hindrance or it's gonna be distracting. It's not, because all the information that normally is maybe lower on the infotainment system when it comes to your navigation stuff, everything now is right up top. And the way that they have it kind of mounted is that it's actually almost below the hood line. So it's not really protruding in your line of sight. Visibility out front, because the A-pillars are so far apart, gives you great visibility. You got nice large side mirrors, but they don't look like billboards. You know, sometimes certain brands just put a big, huge rectangle there. I love the way that they styled the side mirrors. And then another thing that it may take a little getting used to, but once it becomes normal to you, I think you're gonna love it, is the steering wheel. The reason why is because they actually have it positioned very well, and the design of the wheel, even though it might look a little strange compared to any other Lincoln that you've been in, when you're driving, it's nice to kind of take your thumbs and put them right there, basically where 9 and 2 is, and it's a very comfortable, natural seating position. And that's the other thing that I like about the design of the steering wheel. Having the layout in here, very, very clean, very modern. We have those piano keys for our 10-speed automatic. And the nice thing is it's not a large area gloss black. I really dig how they integrated the screen. So having that lower infotainment system screen really is super clean. And like I said, it's easy peasy to change whatever information it is that you want and where you want it on the screen. That is another big plus in here. Having the digital portion of the gauge cluster, you could put as much or as little information that you want. And with the 10-speed automatic, I really like the way it's not chasing through gears. No matter if you're just driving in traffic or you are maybe on a twisty road somewhere, it really knows what gear to be in. And when it changes, it doesn't have to change through all of them. It kind of drops down very smoothly to the appropriate gear and keeps you moving. Now, being behind the wheel, sitting in this 24-way adjustable seat with the massage, and what I like about the massage, it has a nice normal feel to it. It's not just like two weird objects poking in and out of your back. It actually feels very net. They really did some work on that massage process. Look in the dash how you have those blind spot cameras. That really makes life really nice for when you're using your turn signals and maybe you don't have the quick ability to turn your head around. You have that nice blind spot camera to really give you good visibility. Because that's one of the things I think that's scary for some people. Maybe you had a Corsair, maybe you had a Nautilus. Those are obviously smaller than the Navigator. And maybe one of the reasons why Navigator, you're kind of afraid of it is because it's larger. You're gonna think it's harder to drive. It really isn't, especially with the technology. Don't forget Blue Cruise. That also is gonna help with the overall driving experience, especially when you're on the highway. And then now, the way that they've increased your towing capacity, you got your Pro Trailer Assist. You take the boat to the ramp to put it in the water, you're gonna look like a pro. And that was something, trust me, growing up, when I used to go put the boat in the water with my dad, we had to look like a well-oiled machine because he did not want to be embarrassed. Now you don't have to be embarrassed because of that technology that's been brought to the Navigator. And that's what I really like about this setup. I think another big standout when it comes to being behind this vehicle is to help with creating that spa-like experience, that rejuvenation experience. They really did a great job on the rigidity of the chassis and also the sound deadening material. That's gonna keep that noisy outside world on the outside so that you could have that peace and calm on the inside. But overall, the driving dynamics of this vehicle really is nice, because you gotta remember, comparing this to an Escalade, a Cadillac Escalade, you got a V8 under the hood. That's more weight. That's more cumbersome to maneuver. With this twin turbocharged V6, you have more horsepower. It's actually 20 more horsepower than the 6.2 liter V8 that's in the Cadillac Escalade, but you also have less weight over the front end, which is nice as well for that great maneuverability. 22-inch wheels really look good, have a nice ride quality to them. And then of course, when it comes to your passengers are going to be spoiled in that back seat area, the mid row and the third row, because of the space, because like this one having those power seats for the mid row and all those great controls. All right guys, like I said, twin turbo V6. Let's see how the on throttle experience is. On throttle, here we go. So the power gets to all four corners very effectively. And then just look at how maneuverable the vehicle is. And like I said, it's one of those things that because of the way that they've engineered the chassis, the suspension, the steering, it really makes child's play of driving a larger vehicle like the Navigator and being able to have all that great space. You saw the cargo space, you saw that third row. I was blown away by the third row and how much leg room I had. And it's just a very balanced, planted overall experience behind the wheel of the Navigator. But I still got the massage going and it feels really fantastic. And then, like I said, pulling up things on your infotainment system side, you could go home and pull up navigation. Wherever you want it, you could put that information very easily. And then of course the style. The front end of the Navigator, they really did some nice nip and tuck there to make it look more modern and not make it look so heavy at the front. I think they did a really good job with it. But I'm hoping that this has been a good overall review of the Navigator, especially the reserve trim. We're gonna get back and see Kevin over at Parks Lincoln and wrap this one up. So I will see you in a split second. All right guys, been another great day here at Parks Lincoln. Definitely got to thank Kevin and the rest of the crew for getting us access to one of their very first 2025 Lincoln Navigators reserve trim. Let me know what you think. Do you like the changes that Lincoln has brought? Is this something that you say hands down is the best luxury SUV? Let me know in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rides family. Got to give it up to Stephen Flood. He's been doing his protein shakes and his special meals and special training and just everything full of specialness for Stephen. So show him some love in the comment section. Thank you, Stephen, for being so special. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.